Hey everybody, welcome to Sunday Slowdown at J&J Acres. For all of our first-time viewers like Miss Rose, good to see you. Thank you for joining us tonight. Let you know a little bit about what we are. We are a big family on a small farm. We have 5 children and 7 acres. So we're 7 people on 7 acres of land. And we like to show YouTube videos of everything that we do around here, whether it's our gardening or us building a raised bed or something I'm doing on the tractor or the kids just being silly and having fun, all sorts of funny little things. So we share all of those experiences with you. Sometimes they're just updates on how the family is doing and what projects we're working on. Sometimes they're little tips and tricks because we tried something and it didn't work, or we found out a better way to do something from someone else, or whatever it is, and we want to make sure you guys know about it, so we share it with you to make sure there's no secrets out there. We think that if we can share the wealth of information and make it easier for everybody, then all the better. As a part of the show, if you would like a question to be answered, please remember to type it in all capital letters. Typing in all capital letters gets Jennifer's attention, and then she elbows me to make sure that I stay on track and actually answer your questions. So that's kind of how things run around here. Feel free to ask questions to each other all you want, but if it's specifically for us, put it in all capital letters. Okay, I think that's everything. Alright, so we have had a busy weekend, and that's kind of how we've started every single show here recently. I think
It's spring.
Yeah, it's just
The
that time of
weather's
year.
nice.
Yeah, the weather's nice here. I've been noticing, usually at my at work, I keep the Weather Channel station
Stream
turned on.
offline. There we are again.
Had a little bit of a glitch there.
Yep.
Okay, well, don't go anywhere. We're here. All the kids know we're supposed to be on YouTube, so hopefully they're not doing anything with the internet, trying to play Minecraft while we're over here trying to run a show. Well, anyway, I was noticing on the Weather Channel that they were getting snow. I mean, the day that the kids got in the pool the first time, there was a foot of snow up in Maine. That's a lot.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's still snowing up in New England, and we're outside sweating and getting sunburns. I mean,
Freaky Geek wants to know if I use elbow pasta.
I don't get it. What did I miss? Oh, when you elbow me? Yeah. Hits me with a wet noodle. Oh, sorry, Freaky Geek. I've been out in the sun. We both been out in the sun all day today, all day yesterday, and things are not. I'm not quite as sharp.
On some white
Rock.
pea gravel, so it just reflects that sun right back up at us, and we get it double duty.
We got some pictures coming up. Show you guys what's kind of been going on. So
Looks really good too.
yeah. All right. So I want to capture your attention while you guys are here. Do we have we got 25 people in right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I was hoping we get a few more people into the show before I started doing a poll, but we ain't got time to wait around for folks, and you guys are the most important ones because you're here.
Let me pull up my notepad.
I do want to give a little shout out here. I want y'all to pay attention at the chat right now. And you see there, Autumn Oaks Farm. That's one of our newest patrons.
Awesome.
So I want to thank them for supporting us.
I will let you know I am currently the only admin in here.
What a slow day it must be. You know, that's kind of part of the hard thing. I mean, we want to keep doing these shows, but as summer comes on, people are busy. They're active and doing things. And, you know, I mean, look, I love talking to you all, but if we didn't have a commitment to you to do this live show, I'd be laying on the bed trying to pass out to a rerun of Star Trek. I mean, that's just that's how the weekend's been.
Wait. Let's check your semantics here for a second. Trying?
No, I would. I would.
We've had a long day here, folks. We're tired.
Yep. All right. Well, let's not get too stuck up on that.
What was your poll?
I wanted to ask about the videos that came out last week and see what people were the most interested in. So,
give me a second.
All right, so y'all get ready. Jennifer's going to. We do these polls manually, so she's going to write down the list of what the shows were, what the videos were, and then you're just going to have to give the title. And she'll do just kind of a little check mark thing to let her keep count of who voted for what. So, since our last live show, we had the video, Yes, We Did It. That was where we actually found the Queen for the first time ever in this colony. We found the Queen plenty of times before, but we found her and we were able to split our hive. So that's the first video.
Hold on. That was this one?
That's that one.
Which Star Trek do you watch?
Yes.
All of them.
I've seen every single one, and I'll watch the new one when it comes out. It took me a while to warm up to Star Trek Enterprise, but I got over it, and I've seen all those ones.
Guessing not many liked If He Can Sleep. Oh, believe me, we watch them so often, we've got them memorized, and it just makes it easy to sleep.
Yeah. All right, the second video was We Made Daddy Cry, and there is a lot of background information on that video, so even if you guys don't pick it, we're going to talk about it. But that was the kids making some birdhouses for me, or rather painting them. The birdhouses were pre-assembled. I just don't want to misrepresent there. Then the next one was No Longer Family, Do Bees Divorce? That was me. We had just done that split from a couple videos ago, and I was sitting out on my bench, excuse me, and watching the bees, and it just occurred to me that maybe I was seeing a particular interaction there about how the bees were behaving, and it seemed really, really interesting to me that when a worker that was from the colony, the main colony, the mother colony, tried to go into this new colony, they were denied access. And I thought that was pretty interesting that they had basically divorced and they said, no, you're not allowed in this house. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Who's your favorite Star Trek captain? Mine's Picard.
I would probably go with Picard as well. The next one is A Strange Hole. Oh man, I meant to deal with that today. We just never got any time. The strange hole out there, it's back. I'll just tell you right now. But anyway, somebody dug a hole. Something dug a hole next to our black locust tree out there.
And something else chewed all the leaves off of it.
Yeah. But we've been too busy today. I didn't even get back there. The next one is how to harvest honeybee pollen. Whew. I showed you that we are using the Man Lake Superior pollen trap, and how it collects pollen, how it works, and how much we were getting. Well, how much we are getting. We haven't stopped. And then lastly, based on the previous bee video, this is another one about forcing the bees to reorient. So this is where I put a branch in front of the hive and added a bunch of foragers into the split, trying to get the foragers to come out of the hive, reorient, and then start coming back to this new hive rather than going back to the other one that's just 4 feet away. So that's it. Those are all the videos that came out last week. Based on views alone, A Strange Hole got a lot of views, probably just because it's a very intriguing title. And then next was the pollen harvesting. No, I'm wrong. Next is Yes, We Did It, and then We Made Daddy Cry, and then the pollen harvesting. So, but I want to know what you, our focus group, says. What was the most interesting thing?
Well, so far we've got a vote for A Strange Hole.
Just one vote, huh?
One vote so far.
All right, get your votes in now. What was your what video did you enjoy the most or meant the most to you? I mean, it could just be that it was the best filmed. It could be it was the most interesting information. It could be that it was something you needed to know because it was applicable to something on your homestead right now. Could just be because you saw Jennifer in the video, and the only reason you follow the channel is to get a gander at her. That's why I watch the channel.
Yeah.
So there they are. There was Finding the Queen Bee. There was Making Daddy Cry. Do Bees Divorce? A Strange Hole. Harvesting Honey, Harvesting Pollen. And then Forcing the Bees to Reorient.
Anything bees, that's like everything.
Yeah, we had said last week that we could almost do a bee week, and I almost did go with that. But I think next time we do a bee week, so to speak, I will do it purposefully. I'll rack up a few bee videos and we'll do.
Hole. Okay. Another
Getting
strange
a few
hole.
more votes in, huh?
Yep. A lot of them like the strange hole video. That's got 4 votes, so go for it. Keep bringing in your votes, though.
So here's what I know right now. We did have the trail cameras were still out there from deer season. So I have the video. I just haven't had a chance to watch the video because we've been busy, like we keep saying.
So no, we don't know yet what made the hole.
What I do know is that we've seen in the previous videos, there's the deer, there's the wild dogs, we've seen wild cats out in that place.
We've seen our cats out in that place.
Yeah. We've seen raccoons, we've seen possums.
Rabbits.
We've seen rabbits. We've seen coyotes. We've seen fox. So we know that here locally, though I've never seen them on one of our trail cameras, we have armadillos.
I actually have seen, though not in our neighborhood, armadillos.
Okay. Okay.
And I know that there's skunk out here. But we've not had any proof that it's on the property, or you just, you know that smell. You're flying down the freeway and you know someone hit one.
So in doing some filming for another video that if I can recompile it and it actually comes out working, because the first compilation, it just, I don't know, something went goofy. I was shooting some drone footage and decided to fly the drone out there to the deer field and found out that the hole is back. They dug the hole again. So I'm not sure what's up with that. What I do know also is in downloading the video, it shows a little thumbnail. So I know we still have deer coming out to that plot, which half kind of surprises me, but I'm glad for it. So we noticed that 90% of the leaves were missing, and that's one reason I really wanted to get out there today and put some kind of a cage around it and stop the deer from eating on it, or it's going to die.
Yeah.
So we need to put something around it, but I'm hoping that when I get in to watch the video, I'll find out what small creature is out there as well that's actually digging that hole. Unless for some reason it was the deer, but I don't know why the deer would do it, but unless something about that soil was, mineral rich. But,
yeah. Well, someone did say armadillo are fierce diggers. So.
Yeah. I don't know. Because, I understand it's hard to see in that video, but that hole isn't no bigger than that. It's not that big of a hole. And from what I could tell, I didn't shove a stick down in there or anything, but it was maybe only 1.5 feet deep.
Which is about how deep we dug the hole for the tree.
Yeah, which is why I kind of thought the first time I saw it that a dog just, pawed away at it, going for something. And we do have some kind of underground creature. I don't know what the right term for it is.
A mole or a vole?
Yeah, moles or voles, something like that.
The cats go after them.
Yeah. So anyway, that's kind of what's going on with the strange hole out there. And we just had other pressing things to take care of today, and I know it sounds bad to say if the tree wasn't important, but it was less important. So, so I see next on the list there is Finding the Queen Bee and Daddy Crying are tied. So, what I want to do is take the time to tell you more about the Daddy Cry videos. So, do you mind if I let you tell the whole story?
I suppose I can.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, maybe not the whole story. I'll
Okay.
get most of it out.
Okay.
I have had this idea a few weeks ago to do a project for Jared because he's been doing a lot of projects around the house around the property for the rest of us. And so I snuck out to Joann's and bought Joann's Fabrics and bought 6 birdhouses and a bunch of paint and paintbrushes and stuff. And I set up the camera and I told the kids, hey, let's do something nice for Daddy. And that's where the idea was born. I went ahead and completely edited the entire video, and I was even going to throw it up on YouTube, except I couldn't find that upload button. That's his job. So what I did was I just plugged my computer into our TV and turned it on before he left for Lodge, and that's how he even found out that we did it. It was after the video that we surprised him with the birdhouses.
So, something else kind of just funny to the story is when I got home that day, the power was out.
Yeah.
So Jennifer, I learned later, still hadn't finished compiling the video.
I hadn't gotten to the point where it was would compile the video. I was like, if the power had gone out about a half an hour later, it would have done halfway through the compiling and...
Yeah. So then with the power out, she couldn't compile the video, and then eventually the power came back on, and she had just enough time. So here I was getting ready to walk out the door, like I got to go. And she starts all of a sudden, I start hearing the opening. It's the J.J. Akers video opening. I'm like, the heck is going on here? And I look up, and here's the video playing, and she had recorded and edited that entire video ahead of time. And so I'm watching this, and it's cool. I'm sitting there and I'm watching my kids paint these things for me, and then they started doing their little speeches at the end, and that's when I cried. I just couldn't hold it in anymore. And I told Jennifer, I said that it means a hug and a kiss and a thank you. That gets you by day to day kind of thing. But then all of a sudden to see that the whole family got behind this project, and that she went to the extra extent of also videoing it and filming it, not just as a surprise to me, but that's kind of what I do. That's hey, and Daddy would want a project to be videoed. We got to video the project. That just really broke my heart, and I just busted out crying. And I think where I finally lost it was when little Leah, the first one doing her thing, said, "And he's handsome." Oh, baby! Oh. I'm gonna have to make more money. That child's gonna get anything she wants out of me. Well, anyway. So that was really super special of her to do that. And then she said I would have uploaded it, but I didn't know where the menu was, and so I showed her where the menu option was, and then I said, you've got to title this.
We made Daddy cry.
We made Daddy cry. And then I went in later and added in the little pictures. Anyway, so that was kind of the story behind it. And now where it stands right now is Jennifer also bought some shellac lacquer to go on it, some clear coat.
I just haven't had time.
I hadn't had time yet.
I had a 4-day migraine last week, and we have been running busy this weekend.
So they hadn't gone out yet because it's not really good wood to be out in the elements.
Right.
So we need to coat it and then we can put it outside. And I have no clue where I'm going to put it on. Jennifer had some good ideas about using those shepherd hook things, so we can stage them around. Might just find a couple trees out in the woods, and yeah, I kind of thought about that too. About maybe putting them in strategic places out in the woods, where just walking to the deer field, you could see a splash of color and look at a birdhouse or something like that.
Okay.
But anyway, so you noticed that in that video, I think every child said something about Daddy's building us a playground.
Yeah.
Uh,
Leah didn't.
well, okay. I thought she did. What was the first thing she said then?
Because he's nice.
Oh yeah, just I love him. Okay. Well, so I wanted to share that with you tonight. We have 5 kids, and they like to play outside, and
they're rough.
And we like when they're outside.
And they're rough.
They are very hard on things, and so I did my research, and I found a company that made a play set that I felt that would last not only through our children, but with any luck to maybe a grandchild will play on it one day. So let's go ahead and go to the picture show.
Or not.
Hello. Or there it is.
There it is.
Okay. It's acting weird. So this is the majority of the playground arriving via freight in the back of an ABF delivery truck. And I wanted to take a minute to say that this happened because of that man in that truck. That man was patient and intelligent and had good ideas. And if you can see, this is a very long crate that is all together. And he ended up having me take the forklift or take the forks on the tractor and drag that container out until it was barely sitting in his truck. And then he propped it up using his hand dolly. ABF probably doesn't want to know that, but propped it up using his hand dolly. And then I came around the other side and grabbed it on the long end with the tractor, which ended up looking like that. So there's the tractor holding up the playground, and the ABF freight in the background there. So that's how that actually got done. But if it weren't for that guy having the bright idea on how to make this work, which I'm sure he's probably had to do it before,
and the courage to do it.
Yeah, and the courage to do it. I wouldn't have had the faith in a dolly to hold that up. That's 950 pounds is how much that crate weighed. So I was mightily impressed. Suffice to say. So then it starts getting unpacked. This was the day it was delivered, and when we just wanted to dig through it, I believe. No, this wasn't the day it was delivered. I think this is the next day. And
I was digging for the instructions.
Yeah, you were digging for the instruction book there. But there's a majority of the pieces all lined out. Now, one thing I want to say is that Jennifer did a lot of research about a playground. We have had a playground before, but I got in a hurry on where it was going to go, and it wasn't a very level land. Like the playground itself tilts forwards a good 8 to 10 degrees.
It's got a speed slide on it.
Yeah, you go zipping down that slide.
And then down the hill.
Yeah. So what we did is made this enormous pit of pea gravel. And as you can see, the kids have a lot of fun just with the pea gravel. This is Tracy burying Arthur, and is that Kaylin?
That's Kaylin.
Kaylin waiting in line, ready to be buried next. But apparently pea gravel is the preferred material because it gives when you fall. And so maybe we can stop Kaylin from breaking her legs next time.
And it doesn't decompose like wood chips do, and
right. Yeah, I had wanted to go with wood chips.
Doesn't promote.
Which would have saved a lot of money, but Jennifer was right about how
it decomposes. It invites weeds. It invites bugs.
Yep. So we went with the pea gravel, and that's the actual playground areas where that pea gravel is. So here's the swing set. That's basically the first part of the assembly to the point where it freestands. That was Brandon helping up there. I'm not sure what he was tightening. Oh, that was where the swing set actually attaches to the monkey bars. He was attaching that together. And that was the end of night 1. That was last night, Saturday night. That was how far we were able to get with the play set. You can tell that was taken right at dusk.
Now, mind you, in the middle of the day, this is like the hottest spot, because you've got the sun beating directly down on you. You've got the rocks glaring the sun back up at you. We took a break for about, 3-4 hours in the middle of the day and worked on a different project. So.
Y'all don't. I mean, okay, so let me...
and we basically did the same thing again today.
When we first got out there in the morning, I was working on a stone walk path that's going to take us from the back deck all the way to the pool, so the kids aren't getting muddy to and from the pool. At the time I was doing that, Jennifer and Brandon had started working on the play set. Then when I got done with the walkway, I went and started working on another phase of the fish pond, which I'll show you in a minute. And then at the heat of the day, we went and worked under the trees, and we worked on something for the pigs we'll show you later. And then in the afternoon, we came back to the playground for another couple hours. So
when it was cooler.
Yeah, that's why we're tired.
Yeah.
But I don't want to whine. Hopefully you
but
guys.
That's also why the playground didn't get done in one day.
Yeah.
Shredded tires. We also didn't use shredded tires, not just because they float away during heavy rain, but because they tend to leach bad chemicals if they were...
okay.
That's another reason why I didn't go with shredded tires. Someone mentioned it.
Okay. All right, so there's the end of day 1, and now we're into this morning. So the next picture apparently that I brought on here, this is it. This is the completed playground.
And if they look down in the bottom right-hand corner, they can see that path.
Yeah, so this is the path I was working on the morning before, which the kids, as kids do, this wasn't meant to be a play thing. This is just walking to and from the pool. But the kids have now turned this into all sorts of games. They're racing each other on how fast.
Hopscotch.
Yeah, like fakey hopscotch. They're even skipping stones. So like instead of going right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot, they're just going down one side and jumping them. Hey, whatever. Good for them. But so there it is. There is the kids' new play yard. And with any luck, not only will it give them the physical education they need to be a little bit more healthy in life than I personally have been, but also give Mom a little bit of sanity so Mom can say, go play outside. And they have more than just rub sticks together, even though that would have made me perfectly happy back in my time. So here's just another one. There's Miss Leah climbing the rock wall. So there you are. This also, we're excited to be able to bring friends and family over for this. So we, as a family with a lot of children, we know families with a lot of children, and so this and the pool and the trampoline really gives us the ability to say, hey, come on over for the day.
Yes.
And let's just hang out. Let the kids hang out. We can hang out. And all that kind of good stuff. So this is what the kids were all excited about. The dome and that, you see that airplane back there in the corner? That's actually a teeter-totter.
7-person teeter-totter.
Yeah, it actually holds 7 people, if you can believe it or not, which is why we got that, because all the kids could play on it at one time. But the ends of the wings, the ends of the tail, and then of course there's seats in the middle. But anyway, and a seat in the middle, way in the back on the tail as well. The kids had seen the airplane and the dome. Those came by FedEx earlier. And when they came, I just went ahead and told them that the playset was coming as well, and showed them a video of what it looked like, and went ahead and also got the tetherball. So, but anyway, so that's what the kids were all excited about, and why they decided they wanted to do something special for me, since I was busy doing something special for them. So there you go. Alright, so I told you I had also done some work on the fish pond that day, and that's what that looks like. So before, we just had the fish pond down here, but now we have this little 2.5 gallon water that does a waterfall down into the main tank, and we've also got this little like fallen over vase pouring in. So there's basically now another pump down here that is pumping water up to the vase, and then it cascades into this, and then cascades over into the fish pond. And the majority of this underneath is supported by broken
cinder blocks.
Cinder blocks, thank you. Broken cinder blocks, and then built up with soil, and then we planted these junipers, and I forget what kind of ornamental grass this is, but it's got a very leathery texture. It looks dead, but it's actually brown. That actually grows that way, so it's just a bit of a focal point.
Talk about your fish too.
The fish are all doing well.
They're all goldfish.
They're all goldfish. Just bought the cheapy goldfish from PetSmart or Petco or whatever. Petco, whatever one it is we have locally. Almost all of them overwintered. We still have 9. But the snails did not overwinter, or they all ran away. I don't know where.
Or they got eaten by the goldfish.
Or the goldfish. That's right. But everything's, and I'll have to get you another picture another time. But when you buy them, they're like, the size of a nickel, But I think the biggest one's probably about that big. About that big now. So it's not like having a big old koi pond or anything, but it's still kind of cool seeing them out there. Yeah. Everything else around that area is growing really well. I'm very proud to see the rosemary is doing well.
We planted shamrocks, and they looked like they were going to die off, and they bounced right back.
We had bought some shamrocks from the store, from a grocery store, and
just before St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, and we planted them, and they died. And it's like, well, okay, apparently we went too quickly from being indoors at the grocery store to outside at our fish pond, and we thought that was that. But no, they've bounced back. The shamrocks are growing. The thyme is blooming. It's putting out lots of pretty white flowers.
Your moss is growing.
I bought some Irish moss, and it's blooming. That's real pretty too. But the peppermint and the banana mint are coming back. Happy to see that as well. In fact, the only thing that hasn't come back
are the bees.
No. That's true. But as far as what's planted there,
okay.
The only thing that hasn't come back is the lemongrass. The one thing that was supposed to be the most invasive thing in the area was the lemongrass, and it has not come back up yet. So we'll just keep waiting and see whether or not that lemongrass comes back. Because I hope it does.
Ever thought about using live breeding fish in the pond?
It's only 125 gallons, so no, I hadn't thought about doing that.
Well, we were wondering why our goldfish weren't breeding.
And Jennifer found out that it's because they eat their own eggs.
Yep.
Kind of weird, but hey, go ahead. So there was one plant I was really worried wasn't going to make it, and it's like a golden marjoram, a real low growing, mounding golden marjoram, but I think it's coming back. I think I see new leaves growing.
Good.
So I'm excited about that. So anyway, that's what's going on with the fish pond there. In fact, there you can see that's the lemongrass, and it just hasn't come on grow. This here is some violets, or actually specifically pansies. This is the banana mint.
Oh, the pansies love the area.
Yeah, the pansies love it back there.
They keep blooming.
This is the rosemary back here behind the fairy garden. The thyme is right back there, just around the corner. You can't see it. You can't see the peppermint. It's behind the pot in this picture. You can see the walking onions we got from the community garden are still growing. The shamrocks are back in this area. You just can't see them because of how low growing they are right now. That is a very happy and warm dog.
Shannon loves the sun.
There's some more creeping thyme right here. That marjoram I was talking about starting to come up right here, and there's just all sorts of good stuff all the way around there. So we'll probably need to do a whole new full update video on that in the next week or two.
Probably.
And here's something I wanted to show you. This is a terrible, terrible picture, but it was the only one I was able to get. I was putting the tractor away, and I noticed these two insects mating on our dump trailer. But they're huge. They're huge. And I was curious if anybody knew what they were, but you know, I'm sure we're going to get 1,000 different guesses. And it's a terrible, terrible photo. I took that from about 10 feet away, zoomed in, and when I tried to move closer, they flew apart. So that was that. But if you happen to know what that is, let me know, and I'll look it up and see whether or not I think it matches what I saw in person.
Are you putting water lilies in your pond?
We do have, if you notice way over here, there's a bit of a, you can maybe see something in the water there. We are trying to get a water lily, but I'm kind of worried that that's rotted out and not going to grow. We put it in there last spring, and it never came up. That's just like a, you know, they sell you something that goes down at the bottom of the pond, and then this floats on top, so you know where it is. And it never grew past that, so, or it never grew at all. It's just a plastic flower there. But yeah, we'd like to see something.
Wasps, yellow jackets, hornets.
Too big for hornets and yellow jackets, and if they're a wasp, it's nothing I've ever seen in person before. It could, I mean, that they look angry like some kind of wasp, but I've never seen that kind of a wasp before, which is why it really caught my attention. I've had wasps flying all around here lately, so anyway, I wasn't familiar with those ones.
Runs into the room and hits the wall.
Alaskan Off-Gridders asked, did you ever find out how to tell if your pigs are pregnant? We're trying to get ours pregnant right now. Just watched that video of yours, but it may have been an older one. That was a, that was a little bit older. I wouldn't say, it's not that old, but really the only thing we've been able to tell is really when they start to look bigger, which is kind of difficult when you see them every single day. I mean, if you have somebody come to your farm 1 week and then the next week they come again, they might say, wow, your pig's gotten big. And to you, it's just your pig because you see it maybe twice a day. But what we saw was really the only telltale was when the milk line came in, when their teeth started to swell up with milk, was really the only telltale. So that looks pretty close, but man, that's huge.
Yeah, that's too big. That's the Japanese hornet. Someone was...
That's very similar in coloring, but that's way bigger than those were. These were pretty big, but they weren't that big. Good gracious, that exists? I don't think I'll ever visit Japan.
There are enough pictures that it couldn't possibly be...
Well, I don't know about couldn't possibly, but yeah, wow. All right, so... I'm sorry that doesn't probably really answer your question, but the milk line is really the only thing that we've ever seen that finally was something to tell us, yes, the pig is pregnant. But that's about it. So one thing we are
Pick the pigs up once or twice a month. You'll know after a bit if they're changing in size.
you come pick up the pig. Freaky geek. You come pick up my pigs.
That's a 300-pound pig you're talking about picking up off the ground.
I love you, man, but gosh, I don't think I'm up for picking up a pig. But something what we're doing, Alaskan Off-Gridders, is making a new pen that is going to be just for the male, so that we can have more control over when they copulate and when they breed, so that we can know that they're pregnant, rather than leaving the boar with them out in the field and letting nature take full control. And the reason we're doing it isn't just to know, okay, they are pregnant. It's to make sure that when the pigs give birth, they're giving birth at the same time, because we lost a very large farrowing, and we believe it was almost entirely due to the fact of the previous farrowing from the other mother. Those juvenile pigs coming in there and taking the milk away from the little ones, and the little ones died. So we want to make sure we're keeping our piglets at the same time. And rather than try to do separate pens for all the mothers, it was easier to think about it as, let's separate the male, introduce him one time for a couple days, take him back out, and now we should have all of our piglets being born at about the same time. So that's the way we're going to approach it in the future.
Freaky Geek says, sorry, they live in Canada, arms are too short.
That's funny.
Anyways, I didn't mean to zoom in, but here's a hornet list. And where they're located. Do you see it?
Well, you notice one thing about these. I'm going to bring it back up and kind of zoom in just a little bit here. You notice there seems to be a patterning on the back here that I'm not seeing on either one of those, on any of those.
I agree. Maybe closer to that, but
yeah. So I'm not 100% sure that we're looking at any of those, but I'm sorry. It's a terrible picture. If somebody had sent me a picture that looked like this asking me to ID a plant, I would say, I got nothing. Take a better picture. But, this was a walking by moment.
If it's this one, it's a southern yellow jacket.
That's the biggest darn yellow jacket I've ever seen in my life. But, hey. Okay. Well, anyway. Interesting little things happening there. So, alright, just a reminder, we've got about 10 minutes left in the show. If you've got a question you'd like to have answered, make sure you get it in now. It doesn't have to be about a recent video or anything like that. It can be about anything that you want to talk about.
Ginger Rose says lemongrass is perennial, but it's supposed to be a tender perennial, hardy in zones 9 through 10. Maybe it got too cold.
Well, see, but that would really, really surprise me, because I know how deep the roots were. I didn't cut it all the way to the ground. I left enough there to and it's under mulch, and I mean, it's possible. It's possible. I just be very, very surprised. Be very surprised.
Ginger also says, if you really want to know about the bug, send the photo to the entomology department at Mississippi State.
Well, that's a very good suggestion. However, I do think that they too would say send a better picture. Don't you think? I mean, maybe. If they're the experts and all, but maybe they would recognize it. But I don't know. Okay.
I don't know. I'm not the expert.
All right. So let me tell you about some things coming up here. We shot some more videos with the bees today. There's been another development with the bees. It's a good development, but it has negatives.
Our queen bee needs to teach Waldo how to hide.
Yeah, yeah. Our queen bee could teach Waldo how to hide better.
Yes.
But I mean, we know she's there.
Yeah.
But anyway, we tried to get a picture of the queen that we moved for you folks, and we got larvae, we got day old eggs, and we got no queen to take a
Despite
picture.
only having 16 frames to go through, we could not find her today.
Absolutely ridiculous. But while out there, we did a couple other things and shot some cool video, and you'll have to check back for that. We also got a new update coming out about the pigs. That will be a cool one if I can get it to compile properly, because it's going to include some drone video. And I think what my problem is my drone videos was shot at such a high resolution that my computer is having a hard time compiling it. So I'm going to probably have to learn how to film from my drone in 1080 and not in 4K, and be able to fix my problem that way.
Your extension agent might know as well.
Mm-hmm. Now I know from going through the Master Gardener's course that they told us at the very beginning that people are going to send you terrible pictures to try to ask, why is my plant dying? What kind of a weed is this? What kind of bug is eating my plant? And all those kind of things. But they told us to insist that people send us better pictures. So I just don't know. But you're right, the extension office, even if they didn't know, they'd probably get in touch with somebody up there at the entomology and go from there. Let's see, what else? Well, I just said we probably need to film a new video about the fish pond because we've made a lot of changes out there. It looks a lot different. And then we could probably just talk about everything that's growing.
You're wanting to plant some more trees next weekend.
Oh, yeah. I want to replace a couple trees that we have.
We need to finish up that area, too.
One that's dead, and two that we think aren't growing properly. I'll leave it at that. And then there's the raised beds, the strawberry raised beds, you may remember, tie into where the citrus trees are planted. And we've done an entirely different project there that I've got video on that needs to get compiled. And then we need to finish it up. I don't know a better way to say it. So, Ginger Rose, I see you saying you're a master gardener. I went through the class, but I cannot utter the words "I am a master gardener" because I'd never completed the volunteer hours.
Tried to.
Yeah, I tried to. I tried doing a lot of videos here and using that as volunteer hours, but I just never got around to finishing it off. So, whatever.
Stop that.
I can't help it.
You're going to put our viewers to sleep.
Well, who can blame them?
Guess it's a good thing we only have 10 minutes left.
Tai. It's a big tree company, plant company.
Oh, okay.
Online.
Okay.
Nursery. I've heard a lot of bad things about Tai, though. I've kind of avoided going there. If you've bought from that place before and you've got something positive to say, then go ahead and add it to the chat. I've read a lot of negative things about buying from Tai, and so I've avoided them.
Loaded Sink says they used to work as a student researcher at Purdue's entomology department. They get lots of blurry pictures to ID, but yours shows enough detail they could probably ID it.
Yeah. Well, that's good to know. Thank you for some insider information there. Are we planting any moringa trees? I have some seeds for moringa tree, and I don't know whether or not the seeds are viable anymore. I would not mind growing a moringa, but I am not currently going out of my way to grow a moringa, and I'm not sure where I would put it right this minute. The 3 trees that Jennifer's talking about are the exact same 3 trees that we currently have that need to get replaced because of various reasons. So we're going to take out 3 trees and replace 3 trees. So I don't know where I would find the space for the moringa right now, but I have an interest. Somebody asked, Ginger said, do they allow watching
They
video?
do allow.
Oh, they do. Oh, I'm sorry. They do allow watching videos. Well, what I was specifically talking about wasn't watching videos for education hours for myself, but producing videos. Kind of the same respect that you can, same respect as you can say, I went to this group and I taught 15 people about, um, whatever, ornamental flower gardening or vegetable gardening or whatever. What I was doing was producing videos and using that and giving myself about an hour or two credit for the amount of time it takes to do everything, and then putting out the video. And I would sit there and wait for a couple weeks and see how many views it got, and then I would go into my reporting system and say, hey, I spent 2 hours teaching 400 people about whatever the topic of the video was. So that's what I was trying to do, is get my teaching hours in so that I could satisfy my volunteer hours.
Betty Jones says, I have a Granny Smith apple tree and it's 18 years old but has only ever had 2 apples. What is wrong?
I am the worst person to ask that question.
We have a Granny Smith tree that's about 6 years and we've never seen a blossom on it.
Yeah. The only thing that comes to mind is something's wrong with the soil. Either you don't have the right nutrition, or the pH is off, so the tree's not able to absorb the nutrition that's in the soil.
How many freeze hours you get in the winter?
Yeah, are you getting enough freeze hours in the winter for a Granny Smith? You have to have cold hours for things like apple trees. So if you're in southern Florida and trying to grow a Granny Smith apple, you'll get a tree growing, but it won't produce the fruit.
How's your greenhouse?
Propped up against the side of the house.
Still,
yeah. I've been so focused on trying to get this project done for the kids. Now it's finally completed. Maybe we'll get around to actually doing that. But, yeah, there's like a dozen other projects already going.
Is it better for your tree to come bare root or in burlap?
I'm not a big fan of bare root, even though I've received several trees that way. In burlap, if it's actually the root ball, because I've also received something in burlap. If you go back and look at the memorial planting with the biggest or fastest growing tree ever, that was in burlap. It was a stick in burlap.
Yep.
But now if the tree had actually done some of its developing in there and it's actually a root ball, I'd rather have it be in a pot or in burlap than just bare root. But that's me personally. There's some benefits behind it. If you've got the entire root ball intact like that, then you can plant any time of the year you want. Whether or not there are prime times of the year, you can just throw that away and just put it in whenever you want. Just less chance of damaging the root system. More of the root hairs, the hair roots are going to be in place. All those kind of good things. Just better. But sometimes it's not economical. You can't find the tree locally. You've got to order it in. And you can either spend $40 on a tree that's in a pot, or you can spend $10 on a tree that's bare root, and so you want 5 of them. What are you going to do? You're going to buy the bare root one. I would too. But there's positives and negatives behind it.
All right, Ginger Root suggesting about a pollinator for the apple tree.
Well, we do have other apple trees which have put off minor blossoms, and of course, that's a very important point. You said you've only ever seen 2 apples, but how many blossoms have you seen? Because I totally skipped past that and presumed that you were also saying it never really blossoms. Does that thing send out 100,000 flowers in springtime, or do you only get 1 or 2 flowers? Or maybe a small handful of flowers.
Now, we're pretty certain we know what our problem is. It's not getting cold long enough here for ours to actually throw out blossoms.
And it could possibly still be just a little too young.
It could be.
Yeah. Now, if you're not getting it's full of blossoms, Yeah, if it's full of blossoms, then you just need pollination. You need another
You can
apple.
hand pollinate it.
Well, you could, but apple tree, my goodness.
Yeah.
So, and it's not like, you need bumblebees or you need honeybees. You need another tree to provide pollen to pollinate the tree.
There you go.
So we have two other apple trees. One's a golden delicious, and one is a mix between a red and a golden delicious, which aren't perhaps the premier cross pollinators for a Granny Smith, but they'll work. So now you're going to tell me you have like 4 trees, right? Okay, no other apple trees around. So
There you go.
yeah, Ginger is right that crabapple works just fine for a pollinator also. There's very few apple trees that put on any kind of crop worth talking about by themselves, being a self-pollinator. So,
except for our red and yellow golden delicious.
Well, that's
it's
a double grafted.
It's a double grafted.
Yeah.
So it's 2 different trees technically.
Right. Okay, folks, we got 1 minute left. If you want to get something in under the wire, then give it a go. But yeah, I would say, you got that big old tree. You may just want to go to the local nursery, and even if you had to go to Lowe's or Walmart or whatever, and grab yourself a crabapple tree that's already growing and blooming.
She says she has sucker trees popping up around it. Should she let them grow or lop them off?
I would lop off sucker trees. You don't want suckers. That's just going to hinder the health of your existing tree. I would go to the nursery, spend $20 on a crabapple tree that's already putting out flowers, plant it somewhere, and let her rip. That's what I would do if I were in your position. That's what I would do. Okay. Anything else, Mom?
No.
All right, folks, our time is up. Thank you so much for spending this hour with us. We hope you enjoy this because as much as we enjoy it, it's a long day, and we want to do this if it's something that's of value to you. So keep being a part of the show, keep participating in the chat, and so long as we know it's of value to you guys, we'll keep doing it, even if YouTube thinks we're crazy for doing it. I mean, we've got 33 people on right now. I could put a video out and in 25 minutes have 33 views, and here we have talked for an hour. So YouTube kind of looks at us as being really stupid for doing live videos that don't get very many views. So, but we're here to build a friendship and relationship with you. So if you make it worthwhile, if it's worthwhile to you, then we'll keep it up. Thank you all so much for watching.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.